Okay, this is a reaction video. This is from Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. Arsenal double swoop, new Liverpool target. Now, we'll see what he's talking about here. But like I said, please click like, share, and subscribe for him as well as for me.
Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest football transfer news. And I've got to say, there is so much negativity around football, I think, but this summer transfer window is absolutely incredible. You've got Liverpool running out of the traps with people like Wirtz, Frimpong, Kirkes. Man City have done well as well. Chelsea are trying to get involved. And Arsenal, considered late to the party, it's still June. They've got a goalkeeper in. They're getting Norgard in. Zubimendi's basically done. They're talking into Eze and Rodrigo. They're talking to a really good centre-back we're going to talk about in a moment, and striker as well. So they could sign 5 or 6 players. Liverpool are in talks with...
Yeah, here's the thing about Arsenal, okay? Arsenal does not do their business in the press. They just don't do it that way. And here's the other thing, is last time I checked, it was June 27th, okay? Not July 27th or August 27th, okay? You have time to get these done if you're Arsenal, okay? It's not, like I said, the job deal isn't done until the signature is on the line, which is dotted. Okay, so until they sign with another club, there's still an option. So it's not just because Liverpool did their business early and Arsenal does their business a bit late does not make it the end of the world for Arsenal.
Guahi as well now. This is, or it might be the select teams at the top, but they're going for it. They're going for it. And I think this is good for the Premier League, and it's an exciting summer transfer window. So let's start off with Arsenal. Big news coming out yesterday about Mosquera and Eze. He is now added to the equation. Arsenal not messing about, and you can't mess about. You can't mess about. You finished second in the league for the 3rd year in a row. Liverpool are spending, over £100 million on one player. They're ambitious. If you want to win this title, which I think Arsenal have to do this year, then you've got to show the same ambition. They've also got a new director of football, so it's not surprising that they're doing business. I like this Mosquera deal. So Arsenal in talks to sign Valencia defender Christian Mosquera.
Yeah, he's a 21-year-old central defender, played for Valencia, was absolutely fantastic. You may lose Saliba, and he would be an absolutely outstanding replacement for Saliba, because Saliba is wanted by Real Madrid. They've made no bones about it. But Arsenal is hopefully he'll sign a new deal. But if they don't, you need to have backup. So this is an absolutely fantastic move for Arsenal.
20 years of age, plays for Sevilla, doesn't he? No, Valencia. I always get them two mixed up. I mean, I think he's played over 80 games for. I know about this player. It's really sad. So I do like EAFC career mode, and on my last Man United one, I interact with the chat, and somebody said take a look at him, brought him in. He's really good on the game. I don't know what he's going to be like in real life, but obviously what you can tell is he's good in the air. He can play centre-back and full-back, Timber-esque, but he's bigger. He's 6'2". I think Timber's 5'10". So I think it's a really intelligent signing again.
It would be a fantastic signing of Arsenal to get him. Now, I don't know that he would play right away. They might loan him out, but he would be an outstanding player for Arsenal to pick up.
From Arsenal, and it's a variant as well. Some people say he's young, but then some people are saying Norgard's old. It's about building a squad out. It's about building a squad to win a Premier League or a Champions League. Very intelligent from Arsenal. And then Eze in the race now for Arsenal.
Now, I just did a video with Henry Talks Football because he was wanted by Spurs, and Henry has wanted him for 3 seasons now, but he might go to Arsenal. Now, it really depends on if Arsenal get Rodrigo. I do not believe Arsenal's going to get Rodrigo. I hope I'm wrong on that one, but Eze would be a fantastic player if the Arsenal were to sign him.
Arsenal in the race for Eze as well. Apparently they have a release. I wrote this down somewhere, so I don't need to do apparently. So he had £68 million. He has a release clause of £68 million, and Crystal Palace would be open to instalments as well. So Arsenal apparently in the race with Spurs as well, but they have.
I believe Crystal Palace is going to find out that they're going to be eligible for the FA Cup. because of the FA Cup, the Europa League, which will be big money for Crystal Palace if they're able to play in the Europa League. I think UEFA has to make a decision on that because of ownership of two different clubs in the same competition. Even though the American owner has sold his shares from Crystal Palace, I think they need to find out if Crystal Palace is going to be eligible to play in the Europa League.
I've joined that race as well with Rodrigo still a consideration too. Rodrigo, I think, really does depend on what happens with. This is what Ben Jacobs had to say. Arsenal have added Eze to their list of left-wing targets. Eze also being considered by Spurs. 68 million release clause. They would be open to instalments.
And apparently, Arsenal have already agreed personal terms with Eze. So,
Rodrigo also of interest, but really depends on his future talks with Xabi Alonso as well. So, which would you prefer out of those? Arsenal fans, my observation would be, don't need to be an Arsenal fan, get your comments in if you're not. Rodrigo's better than Eze, and I think he would be a fantastic player for the Premier League and for Arsenal. But Eze is Premier League proven, and I mean, look, if you had... It's scary to think how good Arsenal could be next year. I'm not taking anything away from Liverpool or Man City, but if you've got Raya in goal, you've got your full-backs, you've got Gabriel back with Saliba, you've got Rice... You've got Zubimendi, you've got Odegaard, and then you've got Eze, Saka, and let's say Sesko or Gyökeres. I don't see a weakness in that Arsenal team. And
no, I don't either. Look, again, you have to wait till they sign on the line which is dotted, and that has not happened with a lot of these players that he just mentioned there. But again, we will see.
To be fair, in the last couple of years, I'd probably look at their midfield and go, all right, you've got Rice and Odegaard, but the third midfielder you could improve on, which they are. You look at their front three and you go, Martinelli, Jesus, Saka, you could definitely improve on Martinelli and Jesus. So these would be huge improvements for Arsenal. And it's exciting. As I say, it's exciting that I think many people weren't sure what was going to happen in this summer transfer window. And as we've seen, Liverpool coming out of the blocks, Man City responded, Arsenal are responding. I actually saw a clip of an Arsenal fan having a rant yesterday, and I thought, what are you ranting about? You've got a reserve goalkeeper, you've got another two midfielders coming in, you're clearly in talks for your left winger, you're bringing another centre-back in, out your striker, which you're definitely going to do. You've lined up Gyökeres and Sesko, you're going to buy one of them, it's June the 27th, you're not back in pre-season for 2 weeks. And there was an Arsenal fan having a rant, and I thought,
Yeah, it's like I said, last time it's June 26th. It's not July 26th. It's not August 26th. Or 27th. It is June. Okay? There is time. There is time, Arsenal. Just because Liverpool does their business early does not mean Arsenal doing it late is any worse. It doesn't make a difference. As long as you do get it done prior to preseason, you should be in good shape.
You know what, sometimes, and it does happen at other clubs as well, some people just want to see the world burn. What are you moaning about? You're having a good transfer window. You just want them in 2 weeks ago. You start pre-season in 2 weeks. You will have these players in for the start of the season. Stop moaning. I think Arsenal, in the space of a couple of short weeks, it's really motoring and they're looking good. On Liverpool, they are in talks with Guehi now, apparently. This is where their next attention goes. Obviously, Kwanzaa's gone to Leverkusen. We had the announcement officially yesterday of Kerkez. Just want to say on Kerkez, I think him and Anthony Robinson were extraordinary last year. They're a little bit like the left-back version of Cunha and Mbeumo, who just did so well at Wolves and Brentford, and I think...
Yeah, Liverpool was outstanding last year, and they were absolutely fabulous for Liverpool last year. Fantastic club, worthy Premier League champions.
Kerkez at Bournemouth and Anthony Robinson at Fulham were the two best left backs in the league, so deserved. It's always good to see players at clubs like Brentford, Bournemouth, Fulham, Wolves get the opportunities at bigger clubs, and obviously Anthony Robinson looks like he's staying at Fulham, but Cunha and Mbeumo and Kerkez all making moves, and really interesting left back for Liverpool. I don't know what happens with Andy Robertson. Maybe he's going to move on, but really good signing for them. And yeah, another good signing. They're apparently going to move on to Guehi now, and obviously we still don't know what's going to happen with the forward situation, and nothing really to add about Isak or that. Talking about Atletico Madrid though, that's where Andy Robertson could be heading, but also there is talk that the Telegraph are saying that Atletico Madrid are looking at Romero of Spurs. You know what?
That would be an interesting move for Atletico Madrid to go for Romero from Spurs. Look, Spurs were awful last year. They were absolutely awful. They won the Europa League, made it to the Champions League, but they were absolutely pathetic. It would be interesting if Romero made it to Atletico Madrid. That would be a fantastic pick. That would be an interesting move for Diego Simeone.
If somebody said to me, name a centre-back in European football who doesn't play for Atletico Madrid, who is perfectly Atletico Madrid, you'd find it hard not to instantly say Romero. And now I know we're saying it because of the story, but actually, he is a Simeone centre-back blueprint, isn't he? So, whether it's going to happen or not, £60 million is apparently what Spurs would want for Romero at 27. That sounds a little bit steep, especially.
Yeah, a little bit steep, but but still worth it. I think he'd be good for Atletico. I think he'd be good for Simeone.
Especially when he's had a few injury problems, but they won't sell him for a cut price fee. It'd be interesting. I think the Spurs evolution is going to be really interesting. I mean, we will have more time to talk about this once the season starts. But I feel with Spurs that obviously with Ange going, they won the trophy. There will be some players at Spurs who look at it and go, I'm not so sure that this is the project I want to be part of now. It's going to be a new project under Thomas Frank, and I think there's going to be a lot.
I think there's. Thomas Frank is a fantastic manager. I think he's going to get Spurs back up the table. They're not going to be 17th. They're not going to be as naive as they were under Postecoglou. But I think Frank is a fantastic manager. Again, the problem with Spurs is not the manager. It's generally not the manager. It's Daniel Levy. It's my problem. That's who the problem is with Spurs. But he's got a difficult job too. And I understand why he does what he does, but
a change at Tottenham. I really, really do, and it's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, Thomas Frank's not been there that long. It's really difficult to come into a job. I remember this with United on a slot, obviously with Liverpool last year. It's really hard to come into a job as a new manager in June, and because so many clubs, you look at the activity of Liverpool, you look at the activity of Arsenal. They've been working on the Man City. They've been working on these deals since probably the turn of the year, certainly March. You come in at Spurs mid-June, like Thomas Frank, everybody's already lined up. Like, obviously, he probably tried to do something with Mbeumo, but he's going to Man United. And then you've got to deal with the exodus as well. So it's going to be really difficult. I just hope that Thomas Frank isn't under immense pressure really quickly. It seems to me that time is not of the essence. We've seen that with Potter. We've seen it with Amorim, Ruud van Nistelrooy as well. I mean, you come into a club that's going to get relegated midway through the season. You get sacked in the summer without never having a pre-season or a transfer window. It's a joke. But I think Thomas Frank's job's really difficult at Spurs, and they've made mistakes in the past on how quick they got rid of Nuno. So hopefully he will be given time, because I think it's a really difficult season for Spurs. Champions League football as well. Could see an exodus of players. They're going to be fighting for the scraps in the transfer window as well, because of how late they're joining the party. So interesting to monitor that.
Well, apparently Timo Werner for Tottenham, who's a Champions League striker, Champions winning striker, played for Chelsea when they won the Champions League a couple of years back. He is apparently going to be joining New York Red Bull in the MLS. Now, I said this about Timo Werner. He couldn't score in a Las Vegas cat house with $100,000 in his pocket. But playing for in the MLS might actually be good for him, where he can actually play a little, it's lesser competition and score goals. It would be interesting to see. But he's leaving Spurs.
which is why selling someone like Romero might not be a good idea. You remove a good player, but what do you replace him with? Get your comments in below. Let me know what your thoughts are. It really is. I really want to know actually what you think about the transfer window, because I actually think it's good. I remember doing this last year and saying the summer transfer window last year just felt shit, really bad. I think it's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant so far, and hopefully it will continue. Get your comments in below.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, look, I love this is the silly season, and this is where transfer. But anyway, please click like, share, and subscribe for Mark as well as from me. I would appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.